How does one meditate to connect with their higher selves? Thank you, Mel, for this question. This is one of my favorite questions. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to talk more about this. So, to begin, we need to understand the vibration of the higher self. The higher self exists in a vibration that looks like this, right? Constantly on the positive emotional guidance scale, right? And on the wanted vibrations. And never, your higher self would never come down to this unwanted level. Ever. Ever, ever, ever. It can't. It's not its nature to do so. That is why it decided to come here as an avatar form, to place some of its consciousness into an avatar body. Hence, this avatar now has life, and that life is you, Mel, asking the question of how to become vibrationally equivalent to your higher self. Okay, so we know this is the vibration of your higher self. It's constant at a very high vibration. Us, on the other hand, us avatars, we are constantly ebbing and flowing between a wanted vibration, wanted by us, and unwanted vibration. This is a low vibration. Unwanted mean that we don't want to be here, but we're here, right? So we're constantly ebbing and flowing. Sometimes we're predominantly in the unwanted or low vibration. Sometimes we're predominantly high, but we're always falling. And we don't, some of us might be more stable here with a little bit dips, right? So this is the state you're asking to be in. You want to be generally up here with your higher self and occasional dips. The dips has to happen for us avatars. It's not completely desirable to want to remain here because that is why you came here. You came here to experience contrast. Contrast is the opposite of who you are. This, right? So in the avatar form, you will always ebb downward. If you desire to ebb upward, then you will be basically not in the avatar form. Back to where you came from as part of your higher self. Okay. And what I mean by not in the avatar form, not in this dimensional space. This dimensional space, will always result in you experiencing this contrast. All right. So the question is, how does one meditate to connect with your higher self? This is going to be a multi-part video. The full video will be on YouTube. Okay. So the first step is set your intention, ground your focus, your attention, awareness to your body or to the environment, and 3, return to your thinking headspace, but be selective. I'm going to explain each part in details. Okay, let me explain the top half of this image. So this image shows our thinking headspace. When we're thinking, a lot of times our thoughts are very ruminative. They're very consistent, very persistent, very one after the other. As you can see here, this circle represents your thinking headspace, and each of these frequencies. So we talked about thoughts or frequencies are a bunch of thoughts together. So the green frequency means positive thoughts, red means negative thoughts, and black means neutral thoughts that we keep having on a day-to-day basis. And then the blue here is the thoughts that are coming from your higher self to you. So your higher self is constantly speaking to you, and it presents as your internal dialogue. So this is going to be really important as we explain this further. So yes, some of your internal dialogues are actually your higher self speaking through you to you. So what we want to do is we want to create this headspace. So it's almost like a concentration gradient. If you remember, in a concentration gradient, particles flow from an area of high concentration to an area of low concentration. So what you want to do is you want to clear out your thinking headspace so that your higher self's frequencies can permeate most of your thinking headspace. And the way you do this is by grounding your focus or your attention or your awareness to your body or the environment. And this is why meditation that is body oriented is very, very helpful as opposed to meditation that is visualization oriented. Meditation that instructs you to focus on your breathing is helping you ground your attention or your awareness to your body. Meditation, it doesn't have to be meditation either. It could be any practice that you do that grounds you to your body is effective. So yoga is a really good practice that helps a lot of people clear out their thinking headspace because their focus, their awareness is now towards their environment. The key here is you want to stay in this for a very long time. You want to really practice the state as frequently as possible. As you practice this headspace frequently, you will notice that in your day-to-day, you will exist more in this kind of headspace. You would have more distances between your thoughts, right? Than in this headspace where your thoughts are constantly ruminative. They're very, one after the other, very much more difficult to sort of control or to manage. So the idea is you want to create spaces between your thoughts. So let's say your thoughts are, let's say in this headspace, your thoughts are one after the other, like this, coming one after the other. What you want to do is you want to introduce spaces in between your thoughts. So these spaces are like silences. This is the key. It's not about quieting your mind. It's about introducing silences, moments of silences in between thoughts. It's almost like when you're in a meeting, right? It's everyone is talking at the same time. You can't really hear anybody. But if everyone is taking turns completing their statements and speaking in an orderly fashion, right? And allowing for processing, right? Then it is you can have a much more effective discussion. So in regards to meditation, once you're well practiced in this state, what's going to happen is the second you go into meditation, you already start off here. And you can easily do your breathing exercises, which will ground you. So your breathing exercises not just grounds you, but it also deactivates your central nervous system, fight, flight, freeze response. What does this mean? This is the response that your body goes into when it is anxious and stressed and in a trauma mode. So when you're worried, you're stressed, etc., your body is going through this mayday, mayday, mayday sort of response. So, deep breathing does really help you turn this thing down such that you can clear out your headspace and also connect with your higher self. So what happens now that your headspace is pretty clear of, unnecessary thinking is that just like a concentration gradient, your higher self thoughts, which are, remember we talked about, it's always constantly in your headspace, right? More of it will have an opportunity to fill up your headspace. So step 3 is return back to your thinking headspace. So after you've set your intention, you've grounded yourself, done deep breathing, etc. When you get to a place where you feel like your thoughts have slowed down, now you want to return right back into your headspace, and now you want to start talking to your higher self as if your higher self is listening to you, like you're talking to someone. Or you could just not talk. You could just, observe the thoughts. And what you're going to start noticing, different kinds of thoughts. There are more uplifting, there are more positive, there are more encouraging. Those thoughts will be the thoughts that are now dominating your headspace, right? Those thoughts are indicators that your higher self is speaking to you using your internal dialogue. You have now created space to hear your higher self talking to you. And your higher self doesn't just talk to you in that way, it also talks to you through your intuition, right? So you now have space for your intuition to come through, right? It talks to some people through body reactions. So your body might start moving, or you might start getting goosebumps. It might be swinging. It varies from person to person. You feel an intense wisdom. You will feel deep knowledge of topics that you generally not know about it. Like you haven't studied, but you just seem to just know about it. So these thoughts would feel this way. These are signs that your higher self is communicating with you. It is important to note that, so this is very important, that your higher self will always communicate with you in a wise, loving, encouraging, optimistic way. So for the majority of you, again, your higher self communication is through your own internal dialogue. It does not feel separate from you. It just feels like a kinder you, right? Speaking to you. Okay, so in the video I made egoic self versus the higher self, I kind of go into detail about this and how to decipher from your ego talk and your higher self talk. All right, so when you are not meditating, you want to continually practice compassionate self-talk. Another way of saying this is using your inner loving mother voice. If you didn't grow up with a loving mother, I understand this might be a difficult exercise. Watch movies, people, or things that displays what a loving mother voice or talk looks like, right? It is extremely helpful to begin the journey of healing your inner child. Another way of saying this is processing your trauma. Your inner child is your subconscious self. Practice deep breathing often, or do exercises that allows you to breathe deeply, or do any central nervous system deactivation exercises. In general, your connection to your higher self is not just done in meditation. It is something you want to upkeep and do every single day. If you are successful in achieving this state, and you're going to know, or you will know, because your higher self will start sending you signals that will alert you that you are very well connected to it, and it doesn't want you to go, so it will send you signals to help you maintain it. Okay. Let me know if there are any questions, comments about this, and I really do hope that you this whole video has answered your question to the fullest, and if not, please let me know. Thank you. Have a good rest of your day. Bye.